without him. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Polk County Board of Commissioners for Tuesday, March 25th. All commissioners are present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is for comments for items that are not on the agenda. You'd so desperately love to make that a public thing. Don't do it. No, we're fine. All right. No hearing, no comments. Next up is approval of the agenda.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Approval of minutes of March 18th.
I'll move approval.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Now we're up to an after-school program grant proposal. Brent, are you going to help lead us through this? I hope so. Okay. Alicia Preston, welcome.
Good morning, commissioners. Nice to meet those of you who I don't know. I'm Alicia Preston, and thank you for hearing my grant proposal this morning. Okay, whoops, skipped one here. So who am I? My name is Alicia Preston. I'm the owner and director of Academia Early Learning Center, and we've been in operation for 3 years now. The bachelor's degree in elementary education from Western, and then a master's degree in mental and clinical counseling through Oregon State. Been working in the education field for about 13 years, with 2 of those actually on the school-based team for Polk County, which is really great. A little bit about Academia as a business and what it does now. So currently we're a private LLC and we operate a child care center that is located in the Academy building in partnership with Polk County. We have 3 classrooms. We serve kids from ages of 6 weeks up to 5 years. Our program is licensed through the state. It's high quality, it's nature-based, and it's full of really wonderful families and staff. Couple cute little pictures there. So we currently serve 29 families. We have 4 full-time employees and 9 part-time employees, and have been operating just a little shy of 3 years. So what we're looking to do is expand Academia by adding an after-school component. So that would be kids from kindergarten through 5th grade, and we would like to partner with the Dallas United Methodist Church. They have a wonderful children's wing that's just begging for somebody to come use it. And we've already done the pre-certification process. So the state has already been in the building and certified it, and they've told us that we can serve up to 25 children with those age ranges of kinder up through 5th grade. It would be fully open to the public. It's going to really focus on serving our working families in Polk County and in our community. Because Academia is already enrolled in ERDC, we already partner with the state that would allow us to serve at-risk families in this location as well, which is really wonderful. Oops. So there's a great need in Polk County for more childcare. They did a study in 2022 about childcare deserts, and a childcare desert is defined as anything that has when only 33% of kids have access to childcare. That is a desert. Polk County, only 17% of our kids have access to childcare, which is well below that line, which means the rest of those kids don't. And when we did a survey of families here locally, we did Monmouth, Independence, and Dallas, there was a great need. We had a lot of families respond that they desperately need childcare for these kids after school. Currently, there's only 1 in Dallas, and it's full with a giant wait list, and that's it. So the rest of these kids go home alone after school. Parents are having to leave work. All of those big issues. Yeah.
So does that 17%, I'm sure I've been briefed on this before, but
Yeah.
does that 17% include Head Start?
Yes,
Okay.
it does include
So
Head Start.
any other government programs is all wrapped?
It's all wrapped up. Any access to childcare, 17%.
What's happening, just for the audience, what's happening to the rest of those kids? Where are
It's
they?
it's why we're seeing that decline in the workforce, right? Like parents aren't working. They're staying home with their kids because there's just not options, and kids are sitting on giant wait lists, which is really frustrating for families. The amount of calls I get being like, I've been on a wait list for 2.5 years with my newborn. People are calling me now. I've got people that are not even pregnant yet, but are thinking about becoming pregnant who are on our wait list because they're so desperate to find childcare. And the other option is people are driving their kids out of the county.
Yeah.
Marion, Yamhill, trying to find childcare. So not only would this expand jobs, right? We'd be creating a few jobs by having this program, but it also allows people to stay in their current jobs because they have safe places for their kids to go after school. And hopefully, right, it attracts people to the area. They see, hey, Polk County is really doing a great thing here, and it makes them want to come to our area and stay in the area. So here's a little bit just about the location and transportation. This location could not be more ideal. It has a whole children's wing. We don't have to do any remodeling. It's ready to go. There's a playground already there, parent pickup, ample parking. But on the bottom part of that picture, what you can't see is this church is connected to Loch Riel Middle School by that parking lot. So I've already talked to Dallas School District, and they are willing to bus kids from all the elementary schools to the middle school so that we can walk kids over. And that's huge because the biggest barrier with after school care, right, is how do we get there? School ends at 2:50. You leave your job to go pick up your kid and drive them here and then go back to work. Like, not many employers are going to be flexible about that. So we've got a great option, free transportation for these kids, which is a massive perk. A little bit more about what this after school program will look like. So it's going to be STEM based, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. So it's going to be a little bit more than what you typically would see for an after school program. I don't know about you, but when I hear after school program, I picture 80 kids shoved in a sweaty gym running around just with chaos around them, which, as fun as that sounds, is not my goal. My goal is that this is a little bit more focused, a little more honed in, and we're actually giving kids an enrichment opportunity, something that they can really learn about robotics and engineering and motor kits and how things work. And then on top of that, we'll also provide them with a healthy snack, homework support, that outdoor playtime, more typical of a normal after school program. This program would function typically Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. And then we would cover full-time care for them on winter break and spring break so parents can work. And then in the summer, which would hopefully be the kickoff of this program, we're going to offer full-day camps, a half-day option and a PM option for this summer. And we've partnered with Dallas Aquatic Center. They're going to offer discounted lessons. So we'll walk the kids down for that, which is really fun. And then we have a licensed art teacher that's going to come in the afternoon. So we'll do aquatic camp in the morning, art camp in the afternoon, and parents will get to choose AM, PM, or get a discount if they choose both.
Don't have a question again.
Yes.
This particular thing where you're talking about variabilities in time.
Yeah.
I wrote down that can kids use this service if school is closed for
Yes.
some reason? So there's a variety of reasons why it
Yeah.
closed. And parents are like,
What do we
great,
do?
what do I do? I'm gonna miss
Absolutely.
another day of work.
If we have the staffing for it, we'll open it up for those days too. Yeah, parent-teacher conferences will be open, things like that. So all of those big things that parents are normally taking time off for.
That would be a pre-arranged event with your listserv, I suppose, of
Correct.
clients, right?
Yep, that's correct. And then you have seen the proposal, so I know you know what that budget looks like in depth, but I wanted to kind of hit those 4 major areas that we were requesting funding for, so you have a good idea of what that spending will be. The first one being like one-time startup expenses. That's furniture, a shed for the outdoor play, all of those STEM items, the iPads, the mechanics, the robotics, they come in little kits. So that would be the majority of those one-time costs that we're not going to keep buying those things over and over. The second one would be the program operation. So childcare is unique in that it doesn't make revenue until we have clients. And there's a little bit of a gap, right, between when we receive children and when tuition comes in. And so the money would help with staffing costs, snack, insurance costs, some of those things while we wait for revenue to start building. And then because it's a licensed program, there's a ton of requirements that come with that. So we have to see the fire marshal, sanitation, the state comes in, we have to get the conditional use permit from Dallas, and all of those applications would be covered in this. And then the last one would be program marketing. So we're going to be brand new, being able to create some opportunities for families to know about us through some digital ads, some paper ads. And then we also want to do in the beginning of June, like an open house, that we have a barbecue where families from the community can come walk through our space, ask questions, and pre-enroll their children. So kind of the next steps, just so you know where it's going. I've already met with the city and talked about the conditional use permit. It's filled out, it's ready to go. We have all the signatures and all the things we need. Just waiting for funding to turn that in. We have to have the fire marshal come out, sanitation will come out, and then the exciting part, we'll enroll all the children. We already have a wait list. Believe it or not, from that survey, we created a wait list and we already have 28 kids on that wait list, which is already more than we can serve. So I don't anticipate us having a hard time getting this up and going. And then we'll do the hiring of staff. I've already applied and done interviews, but we're just waiting to get that final okay before we get them on board. Any questions?
I'll jump in here. So rates, what are the rates for the service?
Yeah, good question. So I'm going based off of what the other programs around us are rated. Right now, those after school rates are $450. And so we are going to be charging the same.
Give $450 what?
$450 a month. So this is $450 per child. So $450 times 25 children. And that's for the months that we're just providing that after school care. And then we'll do in the summertime, it'll be $450 for the morning, $450 for the afternoon, or we'll do $850 for full day. So that will be a little bit different when we're providing full day care. And then spring break, winter break, it'll look the same. If they just want a half day, $450, their normal rate. If they want that full day.
Okay, so then you also talked about, so that's just the average, anybody walks in the door, you have space, they
Yep.
qualify, whatever.
Correct.
But you talked about families with barriers. So
Yeah.
what's that look like?
Great question. So ERDC is run through the Department of Early Learning and Care, and they decide how much a parent's copay is. So the state pays the rest of their tuition. So right now, some of my families on ERDC will pay $110 and the rest is covered by the state, and that comes through a voucher that I put into the bank. Other times their copay is only $10. That's just based on financial need, and we don't decide that. We just accept the payment from the state.
And do you have any way of controlling the number of ERDC families that are going to be enrolled here? I mean, is it possible that your entire enrollment would be that?
Oh man, that would be pretty awesome. Not typically though. It's pretty hard to get into the program, right? So ERDC for this year is already closed. So these families would have to be already enrolled. But we could hold spots if that was important to people. We could be like, hey, we're going to hold 5 spots out of our 25 for ERDC to make sure we always have room when they want to enter into the program. I know that the church has a really high interest in us creating space for all families and creating space for our at-risk families too.
Okay, but you
Yeah.
still have to maintain cash flow. So who's paying the bill for the held slots?
Exactly. Well, and that's why hopefully, right, we just fill these slots.
Enrollment's what pays the bill,
Exactly.
right? Okay. And so this sounds like an awesome program. I'm sure you're modeling it after a lot of other systems that you're familiar with, you are engaged in. Do you have thoughts or plans for, you're almost full right now, you don't even have the money yet, for future expansion? Do you see in your dream
Yeah.
us going beyond that?
Yeah, I always tell Brent, you might as well start a childcare empire, right? Because we need one. My next thought would be that we open a third location, but a second after school location in Monmouth Independence. Because when we did the survey, it was 60% was Dallas, 40% of the need was in Monmouth Independence. So it was right there on, hey, where do we build this location? And we already have another church, Cultivate Community Church in Monmouth, that same thing, has a giant children's wing that sits all week long with nobody in it, who we've already talked about what that partnership might look like if we decide to expand.
Are
So
there after-school programs like this already, though, in these communities that?
Monmouth Independence has YMCA provides that, but same thing, they're full and have a wait list. The school district used to do one called Beyond the Bell. When I was teaching in that building, they had that, but it went away with COVID. So again, it's one program for both cities that's completely full, same as here. It's SCDC is the one that runs the one in Dallas out of Whitworth Elementary. And same thing, it's like they take 40 kids and they're completely full with a giant wait list. So there's just not enough. There's not enough of us. There's a giant need. We're just going to skim the surface.
So you're gonna start with 25 kids. Is there room for expansion in this location?
No, there's not. And that's due to how many square feet there have to be per child, which just can't affect that, sadly. So no room for expansion in this site, but there are plenty of other sites that we could expand to.
And that was a great presentation, by
Thank
the
you.
way. And I can't believe you work for Polk County. We'll let you go. You're doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I really appreciate the application and the courage for branching out into this new venture. Appreciate the questions too. I share many of those questions. about expansion. And I would just like to say, I would love to keep this conversation going as you sort of get your first kind of pilot
Mm-hmm.
actualized. Maybe there are further partnership opportunities to expand and maybe to
Yeah.
work with our school districts. I think of their facilities.
Mm-hmm.
They have the facilities, right?
Yeah, giant
Um,
gyms.
Right. And I know, revenues are always a challenge in this space.
Mhm.
But there seems to, perhaps there are opportunities for more collaboration. And then just a quick question on the open house and some of the marketing materials. Obviously, this will be placed in a church, which may indicate to some families that this is a church-based program
Right.
or just for people who are practice that denomination or whatever.
Mhm, mhm.
Have you given any thought to that, just to kind of say, hey, this is an independent program open to everybody? Just curious.
Exactly. Yeah. One thing that Reverend Ruth and I had talked about was I was like, hey, are you comfortable when I advertise that I'm not going to put, hey, at United Methodist Church, I'm just going to put the address. It'll be called Academia Extension, and it'll be very clear that this is the address, this is the site we're using, but we're not affiliated. And they're very comfortable with that. They just desperately want somebody using their beautiful children's wing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. I have no other questions. It's really grateful that you bring this forward. And then
Yeah.
again, let's think about how we can expand this partnership. in the
Absolutely.
future.
Thank you.
Well, I would tell you that we're all deeply involved in anything economic development. And we find that generally this is the root of a conversation that we have
Right.
with regard to our economic vitality. I think we
Mhm.
all fully understand that. If we don't find ways to take care of the children of our families that we expect to be working and self-sufficient,
Right.
we've missed the boat. And in my years sitting here, I've been working on this problem, and I don't seem to see the state or federal government making any real progress towards that. So
Mhm.
I applaud individuals like you
Thank you.
who have the courage and the initiative to step forward. You're clearly very smart and you understand what needs to happen. That's one of the reasons why I had a question about your plans for expansion. I'm already in a mode ready to move to the next step.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
To the empire, if you will.
That's right.
But I want to get down a little bit deeper into the application. And again, you're running the learning center at this point. I have been told you have some commitment to making sure that the cash flow from this next enterprise helps support the cash flow needs for the current enterprise.
Correct.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you own early childhood, the ratios of how many staff you have to have per kid are really low. So for my infant room and my toddler room, it's 1 to 4. So for every 4 kids, I have to hire a staff person. Preschool's a little better, 1 to 10. What's really great about school-age children is the ratio is 1 to 15. So I can have 15 kids with 1 staff person. So that revenue just starts to rise much quicker. And so that was part of, hey, like we want to be able to create some profit here. This is a great way to do it. Not only is there a need, but there is more money to be found in that. And if we make 2 sites, 3 sites, right, that just starts to build because of those ratios. And so that's really the focus on why after school care, why is this a better option than providing more preschool, which we also desperately need. And that's what we're looking at, right, is this revenue piece, is how do we start to create some systems that are a little more sustainable? And based on the ratio alone, that's how it happens.
So I'm curious about your experience so far with our current care facility and its clients and where the next step goes. Do you see families dropping through the cracks that don't qualify or can't afford this care? Again, you talked about ERDC folks,
Right.
but I mean, again, just general working families.
Right.
Are there folks just say, I just can't do it, but don't qualify for any other assistance?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we try to keep our prices really affordable. We're actually under market rate at Academia. Yeah, by quite a bit. Because we're trying to make it doable for our middle class working families. It's so expensive and hard. And you want to leave your kids with people you feel really good about. Which is the other thing, is that you might find cheaper, but then you lose quality. And that's hard. So yeah, we do. We see families, right, who can't afford to pay the full rate, but they don't make they're not in that cut where they can qualify for ERDC. And those are really the families we see that leave the workforce because they just can't afford it.
Or they find some other
Less option.
Yeah, some other individual to.
Yeah, there's a lot of family ran centers that are a little bit in home, which the standards are just lower, which isn't a bad thing. It's just different. But if you want a learning center, we're one of 3 in all of Polk County. So it's very hard to find a licensed certified center to leave your kids, which means we have a curriculum, which means our staff are really highly trained. All of my educators that are main teachers have a bachelor's degree teaching your infants and your preschoolers, which is wild. And families love that, and they love being in our environment. We do parent-teacher conferences. You know, we do some really great things that you're just not gonna find anywhere else.
Do you have a good relationship with the Marion Polk Early Learning Hub?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've done some trainings with them. Pretty great.
My granddaughter's in a learning center in Salem,
Oh.
2 days a week. That's $800 a month for 2 days a week.
Yeah, so $850 for 5 isn't bad.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
But she's in that 6 months to 5 years old.
Yeah, she's 3.5.
Yeah.
yeah, our full-time preschool for 3.5 is $850 at academia, 5 days a week.
That's full-time.
Full-time,
Yeah.
yeah, 7:30 to 5:30.
My son is in the FACES program at Fall City,
Mhm.
funded partly by a levy,
Oh, yeah,
community levy, but it's just makes sense for this, for there to be a relationship with the school district.
absolutely.
Piggyback on all those resources. Some of the staff from the school, work part-time for that program.
It's nice.
It'd be interesting to see if there's interest in
Yeah,
the future with our other school districts to
Absolutely.
partner, because nobody probably wants to carry the full
the full weight of it.
program
Mhm.
and full need. My gosh, because
Yeah.
if a school district is involved, I imagine they'd feel compelled to offer that to anybody who's interested in it.
Exactly.
So, anyway.
Hmm.
Since COVID, prices have gone just completely bozo on daycare.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty.
there's several young couples, I know their kids are 3rd and 4th graders.
Mhm.
They go home and lock the door and wait for mom to come home at 5:30.
Exactly.
Because they
And
cannot afford that after-school care.
yeah, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Yep, absolutely.
Mr. Brent.
I just wanted to jump in and say, Lisa sent me the market rate study for Oregon. It came out 2 days ago. So these are the average childcare prices across the state of Oregon in 2024. For full-time infant care at a center, how much do you think it is a month?
$1,250.
The average,
3,000.
$17.68 a month is the average what you pay for full-time childcare
Yeah,
at a center for infant toddler age.
right, for one. Yeah, and we're charging
Yeah,
$1,050
so.
for full-time.
$16.70 for a full-time preschooler.
Hmm.
So that's the average at a center. And if you think about, like, my house payment is less than that.
Mhm.
People are paying more for childcare in Oregon than they are for housing.
That's why we moved my mother here.
Absolutely.
It's cheaper.
Free childcare.
Childcare?
0 through 4 years old. That was my son's childcare.
Wonderful.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Oh.
Any
All
other
right. You
questions?
have questions for us?
I don't think so.
Keep us posted, keep us engaged,
Okay,
and let
yeah.
us know what's going.
I will.
Do you, so if we were to say yes today, do you have a sense of when the machine will be up and running and hopefully being self-sustained?
As far as the after-school program, my goal would be that we kick off the Monday after school ends. So that's about that 3rd week in June would be my goal. And then when I've crunched the numbers, as long as we're full, which based on our wait list, I would assume we will be full. Then I think by month 3, we actually start turning revenue. Month 1, we're in the negative. Month 2, we start to break even. And by month 3.
I think that wait list will grow once you're actually enrolling people, the word will get out.
And yeah, and that's the hope, right? And the hope is that we do such a great job with summer care that people want to stay for after school care. Yeah.
Do you anticipate any surprise startup costs? I imagine you've anticipated all of them and.
I'm hoping we've anticipated all of
Yeah.
them. I don't think so.
No
Like
worries there.
we pre-walked through with sanitation and with the state certifier, and those are most of the time the surprises that come is you didn't know that the toilet couldn't be that far off the ground or that there had to be 6 inches of rock on the playground. But luckily this isn't the first rodeo. We've already done this at another site, so we have a pretty good idea of what those, surprises typically are.
So would you entertain a motion, Chair?
I absolutely would.
So I'd like to move that we approve the business development grant application to Academia Early Learning Center for $30,000.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Great presentation.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pass unanimous.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
We expect you to triple enrollment within 5 years.
Okay, done.
Do we have any non-listed items?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, hearing nothing.